Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. Thank you for staying tuned. A man from Ebonyi State based in Enugu, Emmanuel Acha, has reportedly been detained since April this year, awaiting trial in Abakaliki prison on allegations of fueling communal disputes, murder, and illegal possession of firearms. The chairman of the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations in Ebonyi State and a member of the Action Group on Free Civil Space, he's a civic activist who has been involved in various initiatives. His incarceration may be linked to land disputes, with some speculating that the charges against him are all in an attempt to silence him for exercising his civic rights in a land-related matter. Now, to unravel the confusion surrounding this case, we're joined by Mr. Patrick Allen, Legal Officer, Spaces for Change from Lagos this morning. Now, Spaces for Change has been working closely with civil society groups and has been actively involved in the process. Mr. Allen, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Great to have you. So many of us are hearing about this for the first time. I mean, one would have thought that Mr. Acha had probably gone on holiday, so to speak. But all of a sudden, posts on social media stopped. And some of these posts were actually monitored by Afia TV, a deputy chief correspondent in Umuahia, Abia State, Emmanuel Acha. All of a sudden, the posts just stopped coming. He appeared to be very, very vocal on social media about certain land issues he was having with the community. But bring us up to speed on what really surrounds this case of Emmanuel Acha.
Thank you very much. So the case of Acha can be separated from the exact conflict in Ebonyi State. That is the genesis of the problem. And it started as a communal clash, and the government made efforts to settle the different warring communities. However, they came to a resolution. I think one of the efforts of the government was to set up a committee, the Bishop Michael Okoro Committee, that recommended that the land should be demarcated between the warring communities. However, Emmanuel Acha, a member of the Effium community, thought that the decision was not favorable to his people. It amounted to ceding their ancestral land to the exact people, and then decided to go to court in the Federal High Court of Ebonyi State to challenge the decision of the government. And he went filed the suit together with other persons, calling on the government to redress, possibly just asking the court to settle the matter between them. He preferred that a decision from the court would serve the interests of his people more than just a political settlement. And that was the genesis of the problem. Now, some persons felt that they have reached a certain kind of settlement with the government and not the other warring parties, and they want to settle the matter amicably. And Emmanuel Acha's decision to go to court was stalling the process of settlement. Mm-hmm. But Emmanuel Acha thought otherwise. He's an activist. He understands that when you want to disagree with the government, you do the right thing, you do it lawfully, and he went to court. Consistent with his right to free expression and fair hearing, he went to court, and that is the origin of the matter. Okay. When eventually he was arrested on the 16th of April 2025 this year in Enugu State, and was taken to Ebonyi State and charged with firearms and possession of firearms and other capital offenses and other serious offenses. But let's not mistake the fact here. What we are canvassing here is that Emmanuel Acha is simply exercising the rights that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has allowed him. He is a citizen of Nigeria. If you read section 39 sub 1, it says everyone has the right to free expression and the right to hold opinion. And Emmanuel Acha, though a member of the Effium community, regardless of what settlement the community may have arrived with the other parties in the conflict, he felt that he is not heard in the whole process, that he feels that the decision doesn't favor his people. So he decided to exercise his right to free expression and to hold opinion. And he went to court. But what we're seeing happening here is that it appears that by exercising that right, he's being criminalized in the process. So dissent is being criminalized here because somebody is more powerful than the other, and he feels he can usurp the powers of the state to silence dissent.
All right. So Emmanuel typically was picked up from his home in Enugu, I suppose, and whisked away to Abakaliki prison, where he is currently incarcerated. And all of this happened on April 6th this year under the incumbent administration in Ebonyi State. So I have to ask, who ordered Emmanuel Acha's arrest? And could you also speak to the allegations leveled against him, including the illegal possession of firearms, murder, and fuel and communal disputes?
Thank you very much. You see, the arrest of Emmanuel Acha started with a petition written by some persons in his community, the Afia community. They wrote a petition. If you look at that petition, it clearly states that Emmanuel Acha is promoting communal clashes by setting up a WhatsApp group. That, if you look at the petition, that's exactly what it says, that he is promoting communal clash by setting up a WhatsApp group. Now, the police, on the strength of that investigation, came to Enugu State and arrested Emmanuel Acha and took him back to Ebonyi State. Now, the petition, like I said it was promoting communal clash. When the people who wrote the petition were invited to make their statement at the police station, they said the same thing, that Emmanuel Acha is a member of their community, but he is promoting communal clash. Emmanuel was confronted with the charge against him that some people are alleging that you are promoting communal clash. Emmanuel said, no, if you call setting up a WhatsApp group and going to court to challenge the decision of government as promoting communal clash, then maybe you may say I'm guilty. But what he has only done is to simply go to court to challenge the decision of the state government. And the police didn't ask him about any other allegation apart from what I have stated here. If you look at the police investigation report, it is there. Now, when Emmanuel was then charged to court, then for some reason, somehow, then something came in the charge that said that he is being charged for illegal possession of firearms, contrary to Section 3 sub 1 of the Firearms Act, which is a capital offense. And everyone was surprised. We were taken aback that where is that coming from? The police didn't also indicate that they found Emmanuel Acha when he was arrested in his base at they didn't say they found any such weapon on him. And the people who wrote the petition too didn't say they saw Emmanuel Acha holding a firearm. Nobody said that. But here we were in court where he was being alleged to be in possession of firearms. So we think that was just a calculated attempt to ensure that he was denied bail, because ordinarily bail is not granted in capital offenses. If it were just promoting communal clashes, setting up a WhatsApp group, that's a minor offense. It could be granted bail. But they didn't want that to happen, so they introduced that capital offense in the whole charge. And we think that was malicious. We think that was something out of the ordinary. But here we are trying to ensure that he gets justice in the whole process.
Right.
Okay. Many believe that this case is more about silencing Emmanuel Acha, but not about the crime, right? So I would want to ascertain if you share the same views, and also what steps are you guys taking to seek for his release?
Yes, I completely agree with that sentiment that the case is about the person of Emmanuel Acha. The idea is to silence him. It is a strategic litigation to silence dissent. This is what we're seeing. This is what is playing out here. Simply because he is vocal, simply because he's an activist, simply because he's somebody who wants the right thing to be done, simply because he believes in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria enough to rely on the freedoms that this Constitution has guaranteed him, to go to court and ensure that what has been promised him in the Constitution is given to him and his people. That is his only crime. And I dare say that it is about his person. He is an activist. And we know that this is something calculated to silence this activism and any other activism that he is involved in. And so, yes, it is indeed something that is targeted at his person and not necessarily the dispute. Of course, people who must have instigated this, whole process, have interest. They have something to benefit from the whole process. We believe there are people who who are going around political actors or political power brokers, and they would want something. They would want to come out as persons who are in full control of their communities and persons who can get anything done for anybody who is in power. So I guess they have something to benefit from there. But yes, I agree completely. This is about the person of Emmanuel Acha. But in terms of what we have done, the Action Group on Free Civic Space is a coalition of over 100 civil society organizations spread across Nigeria. And what we do is simply to ensure that the freedoms of free expression, free assembly, and free association is maintained and upheld at all times. So when Emmanuel Acha, a member of the Action Group on Free Civic Space, was arrested, consistent with one of the pillars of what we stand for, where we seek to promote the right to free expression, we thought that it was time to intervene and stand for a comrade who is being prosecuted, who is being persecuted for his activism. So we have engaged the services of a senior counsel to defend him in the ongoing trial in the Ebonyi State High Court. We have also engaged the same counsel has been also mandated to challenge the decision of the Ebonyi State High Court denying Emmanuel Acha bail at the Court of Appeal. And we are hoping that this will yield result and the comrade will be back, and the court will see reasons that these are trump-up charges and they shouldn't be allowed in a democratic setting.
All right, now let's head into the response aspect of it, and I'm sure we'll pop up the petition that you've written, the complaints that you've written to the Ebonyi State government. And you, Spaces for Change, you signed that document as well, copied the Inspector General of Police, Nigeria Police Force Headquarters, Abuja, Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, Abuja, Chairman, National Assembly Committee on Public Petitions, National Assembly Complex, Abuja, and Country Director, Amnesty International Nigeria, in that petition to the state government. What has been the response from the state governor, Right Honorable Francis Wifuru, and other bodies and individuals copied in your complaint?
Unfortunately, the petition written to the executive governor of Ebonyi State has not received any response.
Since July 8th, when this petition was dated?
That petition was written since the 8th of July 2025. And as we speak, we have not received any official response from the government. And perhaps, maybe they are working on it. We may need to give them time. But we think that this is deliberate. It's deliberate because we know that these charges don't just come up. The manner in which Emmanuel Acha was arrested, the manner in which he is being held in incarceration, the manner in which his freedom of liberty and fair hearing is being denied, we think that the government may be complicit in this matter. And it is not surprising then, if you go by that thinking, that we have not received any response from the government itself. But in terms of the other persons who have been copied, yes, we have received responses. We have received response from the National Human Rights Commission, and they are very much interested. They are monitoring the process. They also think that something should be done about this. And the other persons are also working towards ensuring that this matter comes to an amicable settlement. But we do know that this, for a fact, is not a case of a case that should be generating this kind of how should you describe it? The case ordinarily, going by the petition, is a very minor offense. But like you rightly pointed out earlier on, it is because of the person of Acha and the need to silence dissent. That is why this thing is generating this kind of dust and goes dragging this far. Yeah.
When activism is criminalized, right, what precedent does this set, for civil service societies and people who speak out to hold governments accountable?
It's a very disturbing thing, because if activism is criminalized, it sets a precedent that indeed, if there is no such thing as free expression, there is no such thing as your democratic freedoms. It is only in a dictatorship where once the sovereign says, this is the way I'm going, or states a position and says, this is where I want to go, or this is the policy of the government, everybody falls in line. But where a democracy is what we are operating now, where a democracy is in place, then people have freedoms. But when you begin to criminalize those freedoms, when people exercise those freedoms and they are being criminalized as a result, then it is disturbing. Today it is Emmanuel Acha. Tomorrow, who's next? Who's going to be the next person? Mm-hmm. It means that the freedoms are not really guaranteed. And it means that anybody can be taken up simply for doing what the documents, the Constitution has promised the person, exercising his right. So I think it's a very disturbing thing, and it is a regression from our democratic values if we go this route. If we go the route of criminalizing everyone who exercises his freedom, then it is indeed a regression from our democracy, and it is something that is disturbing, it is worrying, and nobody should sit silent in the face of such shrinking of the civic space.
All right. Now, according to reports, the government, and you've mentioned it on the show already this morning, had in 2024 set up a committee led by a certain Bishop Nachi Okoro to resolve the matter concerning the land dispute between the communities. Now, the committee completed its work and presented its report, but rather than acting on that report, the government reportedly dissatisfied, discarded it, and set up another committee, relying instead on its findings to demarcate the disputed land. So the government being referred to right now is the state governor, the Ebonyi State governor, right? Is that the person that is discarding one report and choosing another one that appears? You know, what is your stand on the reason for the government not adhering to the initial committee report and heading for another, if this is actually how things panned out? Just help us understand what may have happened here.
That question is a very good question, and I think that was the same question Emmanuel Acha was seeking clarification on when he went to the Federal High Court at Ebonyi State. He was seeking the court's interpretation of what may have transpired in the whole transaction. And for us as the Action Group on Free Civic Space, we are not particularly interested in the land dispute between Efiom and Ezza communities. We are not interested in that dispute. All we're interested in is we want justice to be done. We want civic freedoms to be upheld. We simply want anyone who is protesting the decision of government, or anyone who is exercising his freedoms, his rights, his liberties, should not be criminalized in the process. So yes, the government may have taken steps to redress that land dispute, and has gone ahead to do, beyond that committee that you mentioned, the Bishop Michael or Okoro committee, there were other steps taken by the Ebonyi State government. We are not challenging those steps, and we have no issues with those steps. You may even call that an internal process of the government. The governor has the right to do all of those within the state. But what we are simply saying is that if a citizen of the state or the citizen of Nigeria decides that he is not comfortable with the decision of the government or the steps taken by the government, he should not be criminalized as a result of disagreeing, or because he's simply disagreeing with the government. So that is simply our take.
That establishes that. So who exactly is Emmanuel Acha?
Like you rightly mentioned, Emmanuel Acha is an...
All right, I think we're having some network challenges with our guest, Mr. Alam. Perhaps going to reconnect back. Let's go on a quick break now. When the Morning Show returns, we'll gain this last clarification, and then we'll return. Stay tuned. All right, thank you for staying tuned. Apologies for that interruption due to network this Friday. Mr. Alam is still with us, and I asked a very important question. While we've tried to put Mr. Emmanuel Acha in perspective, it'd be great to hear from you, Mr. Alam. Tell us who he really is and why everybody should be concerned about this alleged violation of his civic rights.
Sorry, I lost a bit.
All right, Mr. Alam, can you hear us clearly now?
Yes, please.
All right, I said, why we've tried to establish the person of Mr. Acha. You have been close to him, working on this case. Could you put Mr. Emmanuel Acha in proper perspective for us and, of course, our viewers as well, and why people should be concerned about this violation of his civic rights as alleged?
Okay, Emmanuel Acha, I remember the last thing I heard was asking about the person of Emmanuel Acha. Is that right? Still the question?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so Emmanuel Acha, like I mentioned, he is a human rights defender, a civic actor who has been in the trenches for a very long time. He has been defending human rights right from his days as a student. And he is currently the chairman of the Enugu State Civil Society Network. He is a member of the Action Group on Free Civic Space. He has been involved in different causes that seek to promote human rights within the Enugu State and within the entire country. So we think that Emmanuel Acha is someone who is not new in the space, and everything happening to him is simply because he is a human rights activist. He is somebody who would not sit quiet in the face of injustice. He is someone who is always ready to challenge all forms of regression from democratic values. And because he is this person, naturally, he is bound to make enemies in high places. And I think that is what is playing out here. Because he has made this FIOM exact conflict, he has also refused to sit quiet in the face of what he believed was an injustice. And this has invited enemies from very strong high places. And this is what is playing out as today. Has
a court date been set yet?
Absolutely. The matter was set, the trial date was set for July. Yes, July 10th was, if I get that date right, but the matter has not fully commenced because on the first adjourn, the prosecution came to court with excuses why they can't proceed with the matter, and they asked for an adjournment, and the court granted them. And we are still following up on the matter. Like I mentioned, we have briefed a very senior lawyer to follow up on the case and ensure that Emmanuel actually gets the justice that he deserves in this case.
But let's bring it to the leadership of Governor Francis Nwifuru. What does this say about his leadership in Ebonyi State and how he handles civil society and this case of Emmanuel Acha? Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. We remember that 2024, that was last year, if I remember correctly, the governor was interested in settling the dispute between the warring and we understand that there was a program of amnesty to radicalize those who were involved in the armed conflict. And there have been different steps taken by Ebonyi State government, the governor himself. And Emmanuel Acha has also been part of this process in the sense that he has been monitoring the process and keenly looking out to ensure that justice is done regarding the different parties. However, our take, like I said earlier, nothing of this nature happens under the purview of the governor, and the governor will claim that he is not aware of it. Emmanuel Acha is one person among many persons who are involved in the struggle. However, his case stands out because he has been arrested. We have written officially to him to draw his attention to the fact that here is a civic actor who has been arrested in connection with this dispute that he is trying to settle. And unfortunately, this is about the third month going down. More than 3 months, he hasn't said anything. So the conclusion would be that he is aware of this case and he doesn't want to do anything, or he has persons in his administration who have vested interest in this matter and are actively ensuring that Emmanuel Acha is kept in detention as long as possible. So for us, we think that the governor, we acknowledge what the governor has done, but we think he has not done enough to ensure that he promotes civic freedoms in the state.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Alam, for joining us this morning. And we can assure you that Afia TV will continue to follow up on this matter. And this is also a great time for us to call on all concerned civil society organizations to look into this and try to really, uncover the truth behind this story. And, it could be anybody tomorrow. I mean, the allegations of human rights abuse for someone trying to pursue civic rights. So if you're watching this is a great case that you might want to take up and really look into, of course, of this allegation of trumped up charges because of land matters. We know what land means here, so it's a really, really serious case. Thank you, Mr. Alan, for bringing this.
Thank you for coming around here.
Thank you.
All right, on that note, we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Afia Morning Show. On behalf of the entire production team of the weekday edition of the Afia Morning Show, this is saying thank you for watching. I remain your host as always, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain OG. Watch, have a splendid Friday and a weekend ahead. Good looking out. Bye for now.